Hello and welcome back. Thank you for subscribing to my channel, Paint with Gloria. Now let's get started. Okay, we're going to start over. We're going to do this over because when I was recording on how to do the sky, my recorder was not focused. So what we're going to do is we're going to white that out. Let's use this as an example. Pretend maybe that you did not like the sky that you did, or the background, or whatever the case may be. You can always start, cover it up and start over. It's not a ruined canvas as you may think. All you have to do is just take white paint and go over it just like that. And because you're gonna do a white sky, you don't have to make it completely white. So even if you see a little bit of blue coming through this is okay. And then you see here it hardened a little bit, little texture here yesterday when I did this. See the little texture here that dried up? Let me point with this one so you can have a better look. The little texture here, that's okay because you can just go over that again with some clouds. So let's get some of that blue back in there and continue with our sky. It's been a while since I painted because of all that's going on around the US. So I have my stuff all over the place. I just got motivated to start painting again. So here we go. You see? We're gonna darken it up a little bit here on the top, and it gets lighter as you go to the bottom. Now keep in mind your sky is not going to look identical to mine, which is okay. Be happy with your sky and play with it. If it's your first time painting a sky, it's not going to be the same as when you paint your second, your third, your fourth, or maybe your 100th sky. They're all going to be different, which is totally fine. Now what I'm going to do is we're going to do some clouds. It's a very light sky, but my focus is not going to be the sky. It's going to be the tree, and it's going to be the fence. So here it is, as you can see, the little texture from the old painting, and we're just going to go over it and make it part of the clouds. And what I'm doing here is I'm taking and what is that angle brush, and we're just gonna push up, push up. There you go. And you can put as many clouds as you like. See, take that little bulk of paint and you kind of push it up. Push it up. There you go. If it's too bulky for you, it's okay. Just push up and move it around a little bit more to break it up. Here it is. Put a little bit one here. Okay, takes practice. Don't let nobody fool you and tell you it's simple. It takes practice. So keep on practicing until it becomes second nature to you. There you go. See that? Just wiggle your brush and push up, push up, and wiggle. So here I'm going to put one more here. Push up. Here we go. Connect this one to this one. And let it fade. Let it fade away. And there's your sky. And like I said, because I wasn't prepared like I'm usually are, it's going to just take me a couple seconds to get the right stuff here. Alright, well, I'm going to pick this brush. And I'm going to do, I don't want to cut the painting in half, so I'm going to go down here. This is going to be my horizon line, which means my ground is going to be down here. You know, all this area. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and cover that all black. Dry my brush. And here we go. And I picked up a 1 inch and a half brush. So I want to cover a large area. Okay. My brush is a little wet, which is totally okay as well. Since you're just covering the background. And sometimes what I like to do is I just like to tap, just to kind of get that texture in there. You don't have to, but you can if you like. See, just get that texture in there. If you don't like it, again, just swipe it. You want to put it back, tap again. And you can do this with different colors if you like, but I'm going to start with just black for now. I don't want to confuse anyone. Okay, so let me take a minute or two and get the rest of the paints in order and my brushes. You go ahead and just get caught up and give me a second here. Okay, so now since I got my colors in order, we're going to do some of the background here. So we're going to start with some green and add a little bit of yellow. Not much, just a little, just enough to get a lighter green. And we're going to tab. I'm going to start here. We're going to tab, 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 tab. If you notice that your black is still wet, it'll pick up some and it'll just mix in with the color that you have at hand. And again, that's fine. Just keep moving, keeping it in a straight line because you want the land to be flat. However, if you want your land to look more like a hill, and then of course you tilt your brush as you tapping, and that will make it look like it's going downhill. But since I want the top here to look more flat than anything, I'm just gonna keep it straight. Picking up a little bit more yellow because it's still mixing in with that black. in the background, which makes it look a lot darker than what I want. If you don't want that to happen, you can always stop painting for a second and give yourself a few minutes until your background is completely dry, and then you will not be picking up the black. See, it's too wet for me, so I'm going to just add more yellow. Here we go. Let's move it around. Move it around. And what I'm using is maybe an inch flat brush. And if that doesn't seem to be working for you, you can pick up a 1/2 inch brush. Just keep trying different brushes, because I'm sure you have more than 10. We all do. So just try different brushes and see what works best for you. Just because I tell you that I'm using 1 inch, 1 inch might not work for you. Try the 1/2 inch. And again, see what works best for you. And that just takes practice. It's all a matter of practice. And in some part of my video, I might fast forward it, which means time lapse, because I don't think you need to hang in there and watch me tap for 10-15 minutes. You get that idea of what needs to be done. And when this dries up here, again, you can always go back and add more. But I'm just going to continue and continue tapping. I just picked up a little bit of green just to kind of make it different. You don't want it all looking all the same color. When you look at the ground, you look at the grass, you don't just see one solid color. You see hundreds of different shades of greens and yellows. Tapping. I'm tapping. That's what I'm doing. I'm tapping. Tapping. Now I'm gliding and tapping. Gliding and tapping. There you go. I'm going to try to take some solid yellow, because I want this to be a little lighter, because it's just distance. Okay, it's not working, so I'm going to pick up a little bit of white just to kind of add it back there. Yellow, yellow, a little bit more yellow. Tap, 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 tap. That's what I like. Okay. Tap, tap. I'm still tapping. Bring some of that down here. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my liner, 1 inch liner. Looks like a 1 inch. Could be 1/2 inch, but I think it's 1 inch. I'm just going to take a little bit of black. And I'm just going to do a little bit of a little tree here. And I'm wiggling. See, I'm just using the point of my liner just to kind of create those little twigs. If you press on it too hard, you're gonna get big twigs. So you wanna keep it light. This is gonna be a tree in the distance. So it doesn't have to be defined, that's just one. And what if we do a little bush here out in the distance? Okay, we're just gonna add a little bit of, there you go. Okay, put that in water. I don't think I need that. Now, this is the brush that I'm gonna be using for this little tree here, and I might use it for the big one that I'm gonna place here. Now, you might wonder what kind of brush is that. I like to call it my crazy brush. And the reason I call it my crazy brush, because when it gets old, it turns like that. Because of all the squeezing and pushing in the water. But it used to look like this. A nice, flat brush, if you can see that. With time, they'll get like this. See? It used to be flat. But don't throw them away. When they get like this, no need to throw them away, because you can always get special effects with old brushes. Just experiment with them. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of green to my tree there, mixed in with some yellow. Okay, so it's going to be in the distance, so I'm going to just tap. You see that? I took some green and yellow, and I'm just placing it on this tree in the background. You don't want to cover your pretty branches. There you go. See? Tap, tap. Tap, tap. If you want it a little darker, you just pick up a little darker green. And use the yellow for highlights. The same thing for this one. Little tree in the back. There you go. I'm going to add a little bit more yellow on that tree in the back. See? It's just the illusion of a tree in the distance. No, don't define it. Just a little tree in the distance. Okay, now with that, I'm going to start with this one. And because this is going to be in the foreground, I'm just going to be using my filbert brush. I think I called it the angle brush when I first started, but it's not. It's a filbert brush. And again, because I haven't painted for a while, I forgot. But that's norm. Let's call it a new norm for now. So let me do this. Okay. This is the tree that I'm going to plant here, and it's coming from somewhere out here. We just don't see the trunk of the tree. We're just going to see the tree itself. There you go. Let's color it in. And if you don't have a filbert brush, you can use your flat brush. Here is the flat brush, just to show you that you don't always have to use the same brush. There you go. Okay. I'm going to put a branch going here, a branch going this way, and I'm twisting my brush as I go along. See? Let me try that this way so I don't get in the camera's way. There you go. See? Look at that. We're going to be adding little fine twigs. So what I did was I just added a tap of water to my black acrylic paint and using my 1-inch liner to do the little ones. See, I'm just wiggling, pulling, wiggling. And notice I'm only using the tip of my liner Because say for example, watch what happens when I press on it too hard. Watch this. Start here and I'm pressing. You see how wide that got? Well, I don't want it that wide, so I'm just going to use the tip, and I'm going to use light pulls. See the difference? Just using the tip. Now to make that more even, now I just have to do that. There we go. And again, just wiggle it, and add as many branches as you like. Literally, see? And just add. Just keep adding. I want to add this one here. Make it a little more. There you go. The one here. And one here. Going out. There you go. This one, I want it to come this way. Using the tip for those pretty little twigs. And one here, going that way. How's that? Okay, so I'm going to add some color to my tree here, and I'm going to be using my flat, I would say maybe a 1/2 inch, and this is says number 10, but you don't have to go based on that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of gray mixed in black and white to get some gray for my tree here, and putting it on the edge very lightly. Again, if you press too hard on your brush, you're gonna get big strokes. So now if you add too much, you can always go back with the black and cover. Okay, I want to add a little bit of green on that too. So I'm just going to pick up a little bit of green. Okay, a little bit more green. There you go. Mixing with the gray. A little bit here. I hear the planes. There you go. I want to add a little bit more black here. Beautiful. I think I'm ready for some leaves on this tree. So I'm going to pick up my crazy little brush here. I kind of like this one. If I was making a bigger tree than this, I probably would use something like maybe 1 inch spread out brush. See, again, what I'm doing is I'm tapping lightly, and when I like an effect, I just don't go over it again. I leave it as is. If you like it. Here we go. Just tap. And you say, oh, I would like one of those old brushes, but it'll take a while to make it so they can get this way. What I do is I put it in a cup and just let it sit like that. Squeeze down so you can flatten the brush. There you go. And then eventually it'll get like this. Pick up some more green. Mixing it with a little bit of yellow just to kind of give it a different color. Not all the same. There you go. Now you notice it's got a little bit more lighter, which is what you want. You don't want all one solid green. These are my leaves. There you go. There's some here too. And the tree comes out here. There you go. And you can keep adding and adding as many leaves as you want. I'm going to pick up a little bit more yellow because I want my yellow to be here. There you go. Beautiful. See, I just picked up some yellow. I didn't even clean my brush. I just dipped it in some yellow and picked up some yellow. And some yellow here. And I'm just tapping very lightly. Again, you don't want to press your brush too hard because then you just get a big clump and you don't want that. So you just kind of make it look full. And I want to keep this side a little darker than this side because this falls under, not where the sun is hitting it. A little bit more, a little black in here, a little bit more black. Press, press. If you see something you like, don't mess with it, just let it be. See how pretty that is? Okay, now that I believe, yes, this is completely dry, I'm going to go back and put in more highlights here. So I'm going to grab some yellow, mixed in with my green for the lights, and I'm going to just tap because I want this side to be a little lighter. So here we go. See, the sun is hitting back there. And again, you want to keep it straight. You want to keep it right here. Tab. I'm going to pick up a little bit of yellow ochre. Not cleaning my brush, just picking up a little yellow ochre because again I want some of the different yellows in here. See? Tab. Tab, tab, tab. Tab. Tab, tab. Tab. If you created a line and it dries up on you, it's okay, just go over it. Here we go. See? Picking up more. Picking up a little bit of green with that yellow ochre. Again. And I'm just going back and forth here. Lightly. Lightly, just cleaning off my palette, whatever's here. And kind of scrubbing it. Getting rid of these lines, but you don't want to blend too much where it all becomes one color. As you can see, we have different colors going in here. Okay, here I'm going to make it just a little darker here, and the reason why is because of the tree is providing some shade right about here, so I'm just going to keep it a little darker here. See? There you go. Give it the length of the tree. Scrubbing, there you go. Let's say the tree probably comes all the way out here. There you go. The shadow. There you go. Okay, now we're ready for our fence. Now you can clean that big brush because I don't think we're going to be using it. Clean this one too. And let's start with picking up some black. I picked up my 1/2 inch flat, and let's see where we want this fence. We're going to start here. I'm just going to kind of sketch it with my brush. Here we go. Here we go. It doesn't have to be straight. Let's see this one. We're going to make it a little taller. And it's going to go out that way. And it's going to go out this way. This one is going to go that way. Something like that. Just kind of sketch it. We'll put some color in it in a second. We just want to get it in here. Okay, this one goes attached to this one. Doesn't have to be the same size. Doesn't have to be straight. Again, this is going to be like a log fence, something like that. Okay, so this one going to be somewhat connected to this one. Let's make this a little one thicker. There you go. And let's now make this one. There you go. Perfect. And the same for this one. This is going to be a little wider because this is closer to us. Yeah. That's all it takes. That's all it takes. Keep it simple. Don't try to make it perfect, because then you'll get discouraged. Because if you want perfection, you just take a picture. Make a copy, print it, and hang it. You don't want a picture. You want a painting. Now that that's done, I'm going to add some white to it to make it look like old wood. I picked up some. I didn't clean my brush because all this is wet. All that black is wet. So I'm just going to pick up white and we're going to do this. Okay, wiggle it. Now we're going to do this one. Now we're going to add this one. Okay. Doing the same thing with this one. Yeah. Pick up a little bit more white for here. Same thing here. Go across. Just kinda pick up a little bit more white. Again, you don't want to blend it in because you don't want to get you don't want to cover these pretty effects that the brush is leaving behind. You see that? Some grays, light grays, whites, blacks. It's all mixed in there. You want to keep all that pretty stuff there. So This is too grayish for me, so I'm going to just add a little bit more black in here. So pick your black. There you go. And put it back in there. And same here. Put a little bit more black here. Tap, tap, tap. Same color, same brush. Let me connect here a little bit more, using a little bit of white. Here, a little bit here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick a small little filbert, maybe square brush, just a tiny one, just to make it look like there's a hole there holding these fence board. Here you go. Okay, same thing here. Blend it in a little bit, not too much. So again, if you want this lighter, which I think I'm going to make it just a little bit lighter, I'm going to do that. Okay. I'm going to make it a little lighter here in the background. I'm just going to add a tap of white just to lighten up my yellow. Look at that. Saw that? Now I'm going to continue. There you go. Wow. The sun is really hitting back there. Isn't that wonderful? I'm wiping my brush clean without using the water because I just want to kind of blend the bottom. There you go. Don't be afraid to experiment. When you least expect it, you get yourself a masterpiece. If you happen not to like what you do, put it to the side and I'm sure it will grow on you. There you go. Right here. Beautiful. Just a tap here. Not taking away from the shadow. I don't want to take away from the shadow of the tree, so I'm going to put a little dot back in there. Beautiful. Okay. Well, I hope this makes you feel better. Start painting. Something positive to do. Get your mind off everything else that's happening. Here we go. I want a little bit more light here. So I'm just going to add more light here. Just picking up some yellow, whatever is left over on my palette. There you go. See? That tells you that the sun is coming from this angle here. And this is why this is lighter. Okay? And this stays dark. Okay guys, I hope you had a wonderful time with me today. I promise that we will be seeing each other soon. So I'll see you on our next adventure. God bless. Stay safe. Adios amigos.